over 30 minutes for local police to come, but she shared this with a handful of us via WhatsApp because that was the only option that she had. And I thought to myself, there has got to be a better way. And now there is. ResSpot is the world's first global emergency response app. It works similar to Uber. Let's say you're in your car and you start choking. You simply press and hold the virtual panic button, and our algorithm determines which local security or medical provider is closest to you, and we send help to you in less than 5 minutes. But now let's say your phone is stolen or not within reach. Simply press and hold the physical panic button, which syncs to the app, and we get help to you right away. This doesn't require internet connection, and it's perfect for children and the elderly. You're also able to receive real-time security alerts and notify loved ones anywhere in the world. Right now in South Africa, if you register with a private security provider and experience an emergency outside their zone of coverage, you're essentially on your own. With ResSpot, our competitive advantage is the fact that you pay one monthly price and you have access to all the security providers on the platform. So you're protected everywhere. The beauty is that the competitors are our partners. So what's in it for them? We give them access to a new and large customer base composed of millennials, tourists, parents, all of whom want to feel safe wherever they are. We're targeting a huge market. We can make a projected $1.9 billion if we capture a mere 10% of the over 160 million people who live and travel to African cities annually. In fact, in year 1, we'll make $1.2 million from just 10,000 users, each paying $10 a month for the service. And we're well on our way towards reaching that goal. We already have 1,500 pre-signups, and that's with zero marketing dollars spent. And we already have 2 prominent private security providers in South Africa that are interested in being on board. We're raising $500,000, but your $10,000 will go a long way in helping us to complete the app and hire an intern. With plans to scale across Africa and eventually other emerging markets like India, Brazil, and Argentina who have similar security issues, our vision is to build a truly disruptive African tech giant that saves lives and has a global impact. Our team, composed of ex-Googlers, experienced entrepreneurs, and developers, and even an owner of a private security company in South Africa, is well equipped to make that happen.
Thank you.
If you'd like to support us,
Awesome.
This is very good. Thank you so much. So when you're saying you can deliver service within 5 minutes, is that a guarantee? And if that is the case, in this type of situation, this is a life and death, there's going to be a significant amount of reputational risk if you cannot deliver that. And how wide of an area would you be able to deliver that? And because you would depend on the companies you work with to make that happen.
Yeah.
And what is your plan for that?
Thank you. That's a very good question. To answer the first part of your question, whether or not we can guarantee 5 minutes or less, we won't know for sure until we test it out, but our calculations show that if we have a critical mass of security providers and strategically put them in specific areas geographically in the city, we should be able to hit that. Also, the second point, you mentioned that we're dependent on private security partners, and how do we plan to create those partnerships? Essentially, right now, a lot of the private security companies are actually struggling to increase their customer base because they're all going after the same people. They're all going after homeowners. They're all going after the same neighborhoods. In fact, in one neighborhood, you'll have 5 different private security partners just trying to get a little bit, trying to have their own little turf, their sphere of customers. Meanwhile, there are people like me. I'm the customer. This is part of the reason why I'm creating this. I needed something like this, and people that I know, everyone I know needs something like this that's not a homeowner. Meanwhile, there are people like us that are essentially unprotected, right? Because we're not homeowners. Right now, private security is considered as an exclusive thing, kind of, in South Africa, and I feel like your safety shouldn't be exclusive. And so they are said we have an incentive, they have an incentive to partner with us to be able to, to be able to essentially kind of have access to a new and much larger customer base. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question.
So this service actually exists already, but for businesses and for sort of higher end clients. I know because I was offering the service. So it seems to me that the barrier for, right now they're targeting sort of people sort of with a high pain point of willingness to pay, but once they see the entrant on the market, it would take very little actually for them to sort of just make it mass market. Because actually in Nigeria, which is where the service was offered, they've signed up for security companies. They have the same proposition for sort of people coming to pick you up or wherever. They'll even sort of come meet you at the airport, escort you to wherever you're going, whatever. So,
Yeah. No, so you're talking about in Nigeria private security escorts. That's completely different.
No.
Like
This
federal
is,
government.
no. This is in addition to they do this, but they've also added a layer to the service, which is when you're entering the country, you contact them. They'll let you sort of on arrival because you're not from there. They'll let you pick you up and get you where you're going. But you can also press a button and they'll show you wherever you are.
Yeah. Well, I guess if it exists, most people haven't heard of it. I've never heard of it, and so it's still probably very exclusive. We're trying to hit the middle of the pyramid and bottom of the pyramid over time. I have plans. If you'd like to talk more, there are appendix slides. I'd love to kind of go through with you our 4-year strategy and where we see this going. We want our vision is to make everyone feel safe and be safe and start making data-driven decisions in Africa. We're fearful, but it's all anecdotal. We need to start getting the data, collecting it, aggregating it, so that if we're going to be fearful, it may as well be data-driven. So that's the goal. Thank you.
Chief, I had a quick question. No problem. So you're making this a mass market play. So I'm really curious, in your customer acquisition, you don't make it a rider to insurance policies. So why aren't you partnering with the insurance companies?
So our advisor, Greg, he's essentially, a lot of the insurance, we're on that. Yeah, so he has relationships with a lot of the insurance companies. That's going to be critical to making this work. Because a lot of security companies are insured differently. National and international security companies are insured differently. There are different sets of liabilities around that. And so we need to make sure that we think about, yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. Yes, we're all on that.
Thank you very much. So next up.